Well, it is election day across America with millions of voters hitting the polls in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and California. And today's results will give us some major implications of really what we can expect in next year's midterms. So joining us live from a polling place in New York is Jared Hill to break down what's on the ballots and how this will impact everyday Americans. Jared, let's start with the big race right now, the race for New York mayor. Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so Audrina, if you look kind of just in New York City, this race for mayor is going to be between Democrat, the former governor of the state, Andrew Cuomo, as well as an assemblyman, Zohran Mamdani, who is running as the Democratic candidate, although he is a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist. And then there is distant in third place in the polls right now, Curtis Sliwa, the Republican running here. What we know with this election so far is that this has gotten a lot of attention, including from President Trump, who just last night threw his name and his support behind Andrew Cuomo, again, a Democrat in this race, saying that Mamdani winning would be bad for the city that he has called home, also saying that he would restrict certain amounts of federal funding if Mamdani wins. The bigger kind of question around all of this, though, is what does this race say for Democrats nationwide? Is this going to be a moment where Democrats say maybe for the midterms and beyond we should look at being a bit further to the left, as Mamdani is projected to win this race here in this state, at least as of now based on the polls? Or is it time to continue digging into a more moderate stance if Andrew Cuomo were to win? So those are some of the things we're watching here in this election.
And what about across the river from you in New Jersey? The Republican and Democratic candidates really neck and neck in the polls from what we can see this morning. What's happening and what are the implications of this with these candidates?
Yeah, that's right. So that's an interesting one here because it's a place that President Trump has not physically stepped foot to do any campaigning but he is actively kind of a part of this conversation. You have the Republican, Ciattarelli, who is basically kind of attaching himself to President Trump in an effort to swing a state that Trump lost when it came to the presidency just last year. Michael Sherrill, who is the Democrat in this race, has also been kind of shaping this around an anti-Trump stance, again, something that we've seen across the country when it comes to these off-season races.
Good to know about that. I know a lot of eyes there. We're also watching Virginia, where really history is going to be made no matter who they elect. We got two women hoping to be the state's first female governor.
Yeah, that's right. So you have two women who are going to be potentially the governor of the state. So as you mentioned, history will be made in Virginia, regardless of who wins this one. One of the interesting things with that particular race, and again, all of this is in the framing of what does this mean sort of nationally when we're talking about this from a sort of a bird's eye view, a 30,000-foot view here, is that while President Trump has been name-dropping a couple of Republican candidates throughout the country, he has not mentioned the Republican that's running in that race, Winsome Earle-Sears. He didn't say that anyone should vote for her in particular, but did say that people should vote for the Republican in that race. She, as of now, is trailing the Democrat in that race, Amanda Spanberger. So it's going to be interesting again to see exactly how that one shakes out. But these are two states that President Trump lost in 2024, and so we'll have to wait and see if his influence will be able to swing those in his direction and in the Republican direction later on today.
Absolutely. Jared Hill live for us in New York as millions of Americans hit the poll this election day. Thank you for joining us and helping break down some of those key races we're watching this morning.